back of this. Back of this. Hello, hello. Again. Come on, come on. Again. Hello, hello. Hello, my baby gorillas, because I just want to speak about this. Come on, come. And I think I stand with Pakistani liberals on. I already tried to tell you this when I was talking to Anne, Harris Sultan. I've been a subscriber of not just the fact of
if you guys remember, I spoke about this. This is one incident. This one incident really shocked the world and Pakistan specifically, because that's it happened in Pakistan. If you remember that motorway incident where a young mother of two, she was traveling through a motorway or a freeway outside Lahore, Pakistan's second largest city, and her car ran out of petrol and she called for help, but somehow a couple of robbers, they turned up and they brutally raped her in front of her two children. And she had come down from France to Pakistan to teach her kids Islamic values.
Wow. And it gets worse. This whole situation gets worse. So Pakistan to teach.
Now again, I'm just saying that for there's no sarcastic intent behind it. I'm just giving the backstory of the lady, why she was there, and she was so traumatized that I think she went back and she didn't even want to confront or lodge a report or something, but because it was picked up by the media and everyone was horrified, and rightfully so, and people predicted this happened only, I think, less than 12 months ago. It happened last year, and people were demanding capital punishment for the rapists, and they were arrested eventually, and two of them last week.
I don't believe in capital punishment. I don't believe the state executing people, regardless of how horrific.
now were handed death sentences. Now, I usually say that, you know, I'm not in favor of death sentence, but there's something in me, and I think I cannot make up my mind, and this is why
I would say you're wrong in that one, Sultan. And then you have to.
Don't promote this or oppose it, because I myself can't make up my mind. I
have to say, this guy's a lovely fella. I really like him.
Understand why a part of me says that, you know what, good riddance, I don't care. I understand
that's not the right attitude. This is going to get worse.
Why I say that, and that's purely out of emotions, is because when you see such horrific crimes, how can you show any empathy? Even though I understand the argument of there's no free will, people end up doing what they do out of their circumstances and blah blah blah. So I understand that, and but still, you know, I'm still a human, and I think this woman's her welfare and her well-being and her mental peace, or any little mental peace that she can get out of, is far more important than the well-being of those perpetrators. But anyway, so been given death sentence, and I'm, you know, like as I said, but the other part of me says that, you know, like, state can't be brutal like the original perpetrators. You can't become an animal with an animal. If a dog bites you, you don't bite back. You know, you fight back, but you don't bite back. I understand the other side of the argument, and that's my rational mind says that. But that crime shocked the nation, and we thought that this is going to serve as the now infamous Delhi rape case, where this one young woman with her, I think she was with her husband or a boyfriend, and then 7 guys attacked her and they raped her, and then they threw her off the bus and she died. And I think those guys were arrested, and
I don't know if these guys were Muslim. That would make a difference. So I don't know if there's a.
All of them were given death sentences as well. That was a landmark case, and that's what happened in Pakistan as well.
I don't believe in death.
This is the first time they've given death sentence for a rapist, to a rapist. Landmark, and not taking anything away. Well done, good work. But I do have to.
I don't agree with that, Sultan. That
this question, and again, I'm not taking that away. This lady deserved everything. All
I don't believe killing somebody on the back.
The justice that she deserves, and you know, good. She deserves all the justice. But I have to ask the question. I have to ask the question to the Prime Minister, to the Human Rights Minister, and the Pakistani public at large. I want to ask them the question: when a Muslim lady, again,
this gets worse, because obviously we know what's happening with the Pakistan.
I'm only making the distinction because that's how Pakistanis are seeing this. To me, they're all humans. They all deserve equal respect and equal justice. But why is it that...
And Sultan Harris is an atheist. I just want to point that out.
Pakistanis get outraged when something like this happens to a Muslim child or a
one rule for one for another, a bit like the hate speech. Arwa didn't want to answer the question.
Muslim woman. Why? I can show you examples after examples after examples. This girl, last week, she was abducted and then she was converted to Islam. We all saw that in a video. No outrage. It wouldn't even make it to the news channel. Some people on social media talk about it and then they say, okay.
This is the fascist mob that's happening down trying to threaten with beheading.
Okay, that's bad, but then they move on. That's just one incident. And I'm just going to show you one by one.
And I've talked about all this, and I think people thought I was completely on the money.
What happened in this year alone? We're only, what's 28th of March, just 3 months in. What about this girl? Hindu girl, Pooja Megawar, abducted, converted to Islam, and will be married off soon. This girl, Shanti Megawar, earlier this year in January, I believe, or maybe late December, she was gang raped. She was so embarrassed to even show her face, and she was asking, begging for justice. Nothing. She was gang raped. This Christian girl, raped and murdered. This Christian girl, Mavish Bibi, raped. This little 14-year-old Chitrali girl, married off to an MNA, and they spoke about it briefly because this member of the National Assembly was from the opposition party, Islamist party, Maulana Fazlur Rahman, Maulvi Diesel's party. But again, no justice though. She is still with him, and she's a 14-year-old child. These two Christian sisters, Sajida and Abida, in Lahore, raped, murdered. Their bodies were found 2 months, partly decomposed bodies were found 2 months after. No outrage. Nothing. Not a peep. This girl, Myra Shabazz, she made global news. Again, I think she was recovered, but again, there's no conviction. No conviction against the perpetrators. So I'm forced to ask you this question. Again, nothing to the victim on the left. Obviously, she deserves all the respect and justice. She deserves it. But why do Pakistani people, they get outraged when it happens to a Muslim girl like this motorway lady or Zainab, little girl Zainab? But nothing, zero convictions. Most of these people are not even recovered. They haven't, the girl, they haven't had any justice. Perpetrators are still at large. Some of them were arrested, but then later released. Nothing. Why? Where's the justice in that? And I'm really disappointed at the Prime Minister Imran Khan. And obviously, the lady at the left, she's just a token human rights minister. Yes, there is a thing called human rights ministry in Pakistan. Good for nothing other than just making statements against Western countries about Islamophobia. But other than that, they don't see anything what happens in their own country. But Imran Khan he sold us this narrative that, we can have the system of infidels, but we cannot have a system of wickedness or cruelty. Where is it? Why he's not doing anything? And he's aware of it. He's aware of this. He's been made aware of this. I've got I've got over 60 videos, which I only started doing from July last year on my English channel and on my Urdu channels, where I've specifically just covered these minority girls, these minority women, and sometimes minority men who've been murdered and there's been no justice. I've got tons of these incidents. As I said, not even one token conviction, not one conviction, zero. But Prime Minister wants to portray himself as some sort of a champion of human rights. He wants to talk about human rights violations in Kashmir. Sure, whatever. But your responsibility are the people of Pakistan. Prophet Muhammad said that, oh, anyone who doesn't take care of minorities, I will complain against them on the day of judgment, which is actually fabricated hadith. Muhammad didn't say about minorities. He was speaking about laborers or other Muslim workers. But anyway, so they do that. They show one face to the world, and that's what they, again, I'm not saying that Imran Khan endorses this, but his silence, his inaction makes him complicit in this. There are 1,000 girls every year kidnapped, converted to Islam every year. Multiple human rights organizations have said that. Multiple reports have said that. Some have also raised some serious doubts on that. But as I said, I have made 60 videos in the last 7 months or so regarding these cases. And, obviously, I don't get every news story. Let's talk about this week's abduction or forceful conversion of a minority girl. This Hindu girl, a student of year 11, class 11, which means that she would probably be 16, maybe 15. A Hindu girl abducted at gunpoint in front of her father at Harkumal while she was on the way for her on the way to her college. Kanta, her name was Kanta. She was abducted at gunpoint, and these are not made up random stories. This was actually covered by KTN News, which is a local Sindhi news channel, and this is an ID card. Yes, all the sensitive information has been covered, but it's happening. Nothing. Again, no one's been arrested, and even if someone is arrested, there's not going to be any conviction. Why is this happening on such a large scale? And as I said, no one talks about it. It doesn't make it to the international. It doesn't make it to the national news channels. There are no hashtags, justice for Hindu girls, etc.
I've obviously talked about it, but
nothing. So, Mr. Prime Minister, you need to take a very good, hard look at yourself and your statements. And, then when the world sees this, that's why they put sanctions on you. And I can't empathize with you guys.
I support